Hey, it's your boy Mitro from Bangkok Park again. Today I just want to talk about addiction, specifically benzodiazepine and Kratom addiction. When I got to Bangkok around the 22nd of November, I discovered Kratom. Initially I thought it was like a stimulant type herb. It was an antioxidant. I didn't really know the negative effects of it. So at the time I first got introduced to it, I think I only bought one bottle, but then I got to the point of buying liters of it. Before New Year's, I had 15 liters of Kratom in my fridge. I kid you not. I'll post a picture of it. During one of my vlogs in Koh San Road on New Year's Eve as well, I think I drank like 3 liters of Kratom, and I was popping Xanax on top of that. So I was so messed up. At the end of the night, after 3 liters of Kratom and I don't know how much Xanax I was popping Xanax like it was M&Ms. I could not walk straight. I was stumbling around. It was as if I was drunk. I remember getting a foot massage after drinking the 3 liters of Kratom and then popping the Xanax, and I was so out of it I almost fell asleep and I almost forgot my last half-liter bottle of Kratom over there. So today's message is just about overcoming addiction and transcending negative habits, because I was using benzodiazepines specifically for social anxiety, not trying to overcome it by putting myself in uncomfortable situations, which is the best way to do it. So I was using Kratom, I was using benzodiazepines because I wanted to take myself out of this negative headspace that I was feeling. I wasn't practicing any of the mindfulness habits that I am now, like going to the gym regularly, meditating, reading, or doing yoga. And I was trying to escape this negative headspace. I wasn't accepting the negative feelings. I wasn't accepting embracing the discomfort and trying to transcend past that discomfort that I was feeling.
An issue, like I have a problem, I have like anxiety, I have distress, I have all these like things going on. So one school of thought is like, okay, I have issues, right? I need to fix issues. So let me like implement like certain like things and regimes to like combat these problems, which is like useful in moderation to a degree. But I feel like for just a really, really deep internal authentic transformation, you can't do that by following just certain like, oh, let me just write down like in my like gratitude journal, like 15 minutes a day, like every single day, like let me just like have this like mantra, like meditation kind of pattern. Maybe that works for some people to some degree, but in a certain kind of way, there's a type of like insincerity that goes with that, because you become obsessed with doing the surface level generic action to get out of your state of distress, as opposed to just sitting and being in the distress without any agenda and just being there. And in that state, just naturally you somehow just wiggle out of it or dissolve or just transcend like the issue per se, or you don't even transcend it. You could just understand it on a deeper level. And it's that deeper understanding that gives like health, I suppose, if that makes any sense.
It does. Well, I think that an interesting question might be, how many of the strategies that you use to deal with the things that you don't like about yourself or about your life are not helping you to deal with them, but are helping you to escape from them?
Which is completely normal. And I want to read you a chapter of the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, that I've been reading lately. I just read 10 pages of it here in Bangkok Park. I've been reading new books lately, and I want to read a passage from number 9, Don't Try. I think this is chapter 1. The desire for a more positive experience itself is a negative experience. Paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience itself is itself a positive experience. This is total mindfuck, so I'll give you a minute to unpretzel your brain and maybe read that again. Wanting a positive experience is a negative experience. Accepting a negative experience is a positive experience. It's what the philosopher Alan Watts used to refer to as the backwards law. The idea that the more you pursue the feeling better all the time, the less satisfied you become. As pursuing something reinforces the fact that you lack it in the first place. The more desperately you want to be rich, the more poor and unworthy you feel, regardless of how much money you actually make. The more desperately you want to be sexy and desire, the uglier you see yourself become, regardless of your actual physical appearance. The more desperately you want to be happy and loved, the lonelier and more afraid you become, regardless of those who surround you. So I was trying to escape these negative feelings without doing any positive actions or positive reaffirmations, and living the same old lifestyle without trying anything new to overcome those bearings. And I'm someone who struggled with sobriety before, because as you guys know, if you've watched my channel, I'm now over 4 months sober from alcohol and over 4 months sober from nicotine, over 4 months sober from alcohol and over 4 months sober from cannabis, and over 2 years clean from nicotine. And I've had a history of pharmaceutical use, especially benzodiazepine use and antidepressant use when I was younger, which I was probably falsely prescribed by a psychiatrist. Like the way she gave them out to me back in my youth, back when I was 15 years old, led to a path of addiction, and I used benzodiazepines all the way back then. But what I'd like to make this video about, hold up, there's like a couple standing behind me, so I'm just gonna wait a little bit. And I think it's been about a week now since I haven't touched Valium or Xanax, which is Diazepam and Alprazolam. I literally still have hundreds of them with me, but the way I've always overcome addiction, even with cigarettes, even with weed, is that I've always kept it with me so long as if I want to use it, then I have the option to, and then when I'm really over it, then I throw everything away. Because I feel like if I just threw all the pills away, then I would seek out all the pills again. The Kratom, I don't have any Kratom on me, but there's various like vendors near me within a few kilometers where I know spots where I can get it. But Kratom isn't really a big issue for me. I was more addicted to the Diazepam, which is the Valium and the Xanax, because of my social anxiety and the way it made me feel. Especially the Valium. Especially being surrounded in Bangkok, like the SkyTrain, the BTS, and Terminal 21 right now. I think it's high season, it's very packed, very chaotic, there's so many people, and being alone in those settings makes me feel like really socially uncomfortable at times. But it's just by embracing it. Even today I went to eat at Terminal 21, and the first time I went there I felt so uncomfortable trying to find a seat, walking amongst the crowded spaces. If you've seen maybe another vlog of mine, walking amongst the crowded spaces, trying to find a table to sit at, trying to find a restaurant to order from, it just made me feel super socially anxious. And at the time, I think I might have been on Diazepam by then, or maybe I wasn't, or maybe I was completely sober. But today I went there completely sober, and I realized it's not that bad. Like, as long as you put yourself in uncomfortable situations and you embrace that discomfort, you're eventually going to transcend it. You're not going to transcend it by taking the easy route out by popping pills, because that's only going to lead to dependence, especially with the drugs like benzodiazepines, like Xanax, like Valium. Especially if you use them in the long term, then you're kind of going to screw yourself over, which I was doing. So I want to say now I'm proudly completely sober and completely over them, and I'm back to going on the positive path of doing self-improvement habits and practicing daily mindfulness. And it's not the number of days that count necessarily, it's what you do throughout the day, and it's what you do through the days are what truly matter. It's the actions you take during the day, because it's not the number of days that matter or count. It's taking it one day at a time and being your best self and trying to be the best version of yourself that day, and always striving to become a better version of yourself than you were in the day before. So that is my quick story of my overcoming Kratom and my benzodiazepine addiction. I was popping Xanax like it was candy, And then I was using Valium as well quite frequently, but the Xanax was a completely different story. I was always carrying like man, I don't even want to speak about it. I still have so much like in stock, but like I said, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to just overcome the will and overcome the temptation, and then just become a better version of myself. But I would carry a few Xanax in my wallet, and then I would just pop them throughout the day. The same with Valium. I sometimes would carry like 2 or 3, and then I would just pop them depending on how I was feeling. And it just made me drowsy and made my vision blurry, especially when I was popping Xanax and drinking Kratom. It made my vision so blurry I couldn't type properly on my phone. I couldn't enter my passwords on my I couldn't like type properly on my phone, first of all, like for directions, looking for places on Google Maps. And then when it came to my laptop, I could barely type my password for my laptop properly, or on YouTube searches or Google searches. So it was just making me a mess. Anyone that's experienced Xanax addiction especially knows what I'm talking about, man. You pop Xanax like M&Ms, it'll bring out the worst of you. And I have a video on my channel where I was under the influence, which is kind of cringe. It has a few thousand views, but it's just a reminder of a place that I don't want to be in my life anymore. So as I always say, every action you take, every decision you make is a vote for your future self. So just ask yourself, who do you want to be in the future? And just take it one day at a time, because one day at a time is all it takes. Just focus on that day. Just focus on that day and on becoming the best version of yourself on that given day. And don't worry about the future, don't worry about the past, because the past doesn't matter. It's only the present that you can control. And what you do in the present will determine your future and will determine your outcomes. And every setback is not a relapse either when it comes to addiction. So don't like beat yourself up if you slip up sometimes. Just don't go on a full-blown like bender, or don't go on a full-blown relapse. Anyways, I want to say that hopefully with alcohol and cannabis I make it past 2 years, because now 4 months clean from those and 2 years clean from nicotine and cigarettes, since I quit cigarettes. And now with benzodiazepines, I believe it will be a week, either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I think the last time I took them was on New Year's Eve. So early New Year's Eve, I think I was taking both Valium and Xanax, and then I was also drinking Kratom. So on January 7th will be a week since I didn't take them. And I think it's been about, I just want to say, it's taking walks through parks, walks through nature as well, which has been a key part of just getting my thoughts together. And like I said, walking through Bangkok Park, reading here, just contemplating life, sitting down in the shade, and just taking time for yourself and having self-care, that makes all the difference in the world. We live such busy lives. Social media generally compares us to others. It seems like everyone is living their best life on social media. And I've since deleted my Instagram, I've deleted my TikTok, I've deleted my Discord. The only social media I use is YouTube right now. And I'm discovering a new side of myself. I kind of miss Instagram, and I kind of miss viewing the stories of my friends. But I was viewing stories of people that I hadn't talked to for years, no matter how good of friends we were in the past, you know? So sometimes it just goes to show that people change. The universe brings the right people in and out of your life, and people just drift apart. It's completely natural, and it's nothing to do with you. It's just the way life works, man. We're all on a different path at the end of life, so we just have to each find our own way and each find our own purpose. So that's my message to you, is find your purpose and truly focus on that, because that's what's going to bring you your happiness, your purpose and your goals, and stay true to yourself and stay true to your ideals. Anyways, your boy Mitra out. Peace.
Bands or baby, serve that daily. Have a little look here, son, get wavy. Need some food, hanging out crazy. Same tracksuits, I'm hanging out daily. Come out, look at the smell. Leaving the crib, but you'll be back in a bit.